There's nothing like having your own backyard pool in the summer. Warm evenings, a cold drink, and the sound of water splashing, it's paradise. My family and I had finally saved enough to install one, and after it was finished, I added a sturdy fence around it. Not just for looks, but for safety. I didn't want neighborhood kids wandering in unsupervised, and besides, the county code required it. Simple, right? You'd think so. But then, enter Karen. Karen was the self-appointed sheriff of our neighborhood. She wasn't just the president of her HOA, she was the dictator. She believed her rules extended beyond her cul-de-sac, beyond her board, and apparently even beyond reality. Unfortunately for her, I didn't live in her HOA. My property sat on the next street over, just outside of the community boundaries. But that didn't stop her from trying to boss me around. It started with little comments. Your fence is the wrong color. That pool pump is too loud. You should have asked for approval before building. Each time, I smiled and said, Karen, I don't live in your HOA. She'd scowl and mutter about community standards before storming off. But the real explosion came one Saturday afternoon. I was floating in my pool, sunglasses on, radio playing softly, when I heard a voice screeching from the other side of the fence. You can't have this fence. I sighed and got out. Sure enough, Karen was standing there with a clipboard in hand, her son Kyle sulking behind her. It violates HOA regulations, she barked. I grabbed a towel. Karen. One more time. I'm not in your HOA. Your rules don't apply to me. She smirked. We'll see about that. I've already filed a complaint with the board. We're taking you to court. I couldn't help but laugh. Good luck. Weeks later, I got the notice. Karen and the HOA were suing me, claiming my pool fence was unapproved construction that diminished community value. My lawyer nearly laughed out of his chair when I showed him. This won't hold up for a second. You're not under their authority. Still, we went to court. And oh, it was glorious. The day of the hearing, Karen strutted in like she already won. She wore a blazer, had a stack of HOA documents, and dragged Kyle along like her prize witness. She shot me a smug look across the aisle. When it was her turn, she launched into a speech about aesthetic harmony and community standards. She waved photos of my fence like they were evidence of a crime. This fence is a violation of our bylaws. It was built without approval, and it lowers the property value of every compliant homeowner in our neighborhood, she declared. The judge raised an eyebrow. And this defendant lives in your HOA? Karen blinked. Well, no, technically his house is across the street. But it's close enough that it affects us. The courtroom chuckled. The judge leaned forward. So, to be clear, he is not bound by your HOA covenants? Karen flushed. But he should be. He's ruining our community. That's when my lawyer stood. Calm, professional, but with just the right edge of amusement. Your Honor, here's the deed to my client's property. Here's the county map. And here's the HOA boundary, filed with the county clerk. As you can see, my client's property is not, and has never been, part of this HOA. Their claims have no legal standing. The judge barely looked at the papers before nodding. Case dismissed. Karen shot up from her chair. You can't just dismiss it. He's violating the rules. The judge gave her a flat stare. Ma'am, you have no authority over his property. And for wasting this court's time, I'm ordering your HOA to pay the defendant's legal fees. The sound Karen made was somewhere between a gasp and a squeak. Kyle muttered, "Told you this was a bad idea, Mom." In the end, I walked out not only with my fence intact, but with a fat check from the HOA covering my attorney costs. My lawyer joked it was like getting paid to swim in my pool. Karen, meanwhile, became the laughingstock of the neighborhood. Word spread quickly that she had tried to sue someone outside her HOA and lost badly. Board members started questioning her leadership. Some even called for her resignation. And the best part? Every time I float in my pool and glance over at her house, I can see her blinds twitching. She's still watching, still fuming, still powerless. Because at the end of the day, her rules stop at the edge of her HOA. And my pool fence? It's still standing tall.